So that's a good stopping point for now for a second, just to show you what's going on. I don't know if you suffer through that time lapse, but this is all the way through. This is the piece that's got to get rebuilt. There's still Bondo packed in there. It's crazy. And I'm wondering why there's a gap right here. Shouldn't that be like spot welded right down to it? I don't know. But there's still a lot of Bondo to get out. I'm going to have to change heads on the wire wheel, but I'm going to go up and get all in there. But that surface rust is coming right off. It goes right down to the green. Just got to get into some of these nooks and crannies. And one thing I didn't mention is this rust hole here, which of course translates to here as well. But on the back side of that, it's because there's a bracket, and the moisture gets trapped behind the bracket. That's what causes the rust to come through. So to do this right, I've got to cut this out, expose the bracket, clean up the bracket, and put a patch in, if I can do that. Now I know Fitzy could do it, you know, with his eyes closed, but we'll see if I can pull that off. So, taking a little break. I started on the outside. Let me just start over here. So the eyebrow does have just a tiny bit of rot there, unless those are holes for maybe trying to pull the dent, which I doubt. I can't. I should put my glasses on. I can probably see better. Hold on. Okay. Yep, a little bit of rust up there. Looks like it's double walled as well. So I might have to cut that open. Maybe pull this out with a dent puller or some sort, similar to that crease I'm dealing with. We'll see. I'm not ready to start fixing that yet because got a whole bunch of other stuff going on, especially over here. This is all Bondo in here. I'm just chipping away at it with the wire wheel, making the Bondo go away, just to see what I'm dealing with. I think my patch panel goes to about this high, so I don't even know if it'll cover that. So who knows? I'll be using that entire patch panel. And like I said, this structural piece underneath, here's what's left of it. You can see it. This is all Bondo. Then over here, they had Bondo all the way out into here. So I'm guessing they covered that hole at some point. So, I don't know. Just keep wire wheeling away. It's going slow. I should probably invest in one of those drum resurfacers. I think that takes the paint off down to the metal a lot faster from what I've understand. I don't know that. Anybody's got any opinion on that tool? There's a couple on Marketplace for sale at I think a reasonable price. I might pick one up. So let me keep sanding or keep wire wheeling. All right, I need a break. My hands are going numb from the vibration. Got like a weird sensation in my hands. But look, I got this cleaned out. Still got a little Bondo left, but I'll chip that out. look at this chunk on the ground here. That's about a 1 inch thick piece. See how deep my hand is, my finger is? That was all packed with Bondo. All the way up into here. All the way across here. They filled this dent, a little crease there, a little dent here. So Bondo was the solution to everything back in the day. This, I'll take a hammer to this. Well, I don't even know if I might cut that out altogether. Depends what I'm going to replace on this. I'm probably going to use that entire panel, cut this off, try to rebuild this as best I can. See, it's all rotted away, but you know, if I grind it right, I think I can get some gauge metal in there, and not gauge metal, 18 gauge sheet metal in there, and kind of fabricate that, make those bends. I'm hoping. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky. We'll see. Get a little more up in here, but I need to rest my hands. That's enough for now. So there's the patch panel, and I'm probably going to use most of it. That'll mean this has got to be a 16 inch probably weld across there. There's what's left down there. I don't know if you can see. So I got to rebuild that if I can. I'm going to try. Let me show you the other side real quick. Hang on. So there's the other side of it. So this here, this hem, looks like there's 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 resistance welds or spot welds that I got to break open and unfold this before I cut it. And then I'll try to tuck a new piece under there. This is what I said about the door, and I never did it. But this one I think I need to do. And if I could just make a piece that kind of mimics just this side here and the return, that's a good start. Then I can fill in this other piece as best I can with something solid. And then I think I should treat as best I can underneath and inside of here. Maybe turn this thing up on its end and run some Chorus Seal down there to kill any rust. Because any rust is underneath here. You see it's under there. So that's kind of my plan. I don't know if I'll get to it today. I'd like to start maybe unfolding this seam today, and that's about all I want to do today. It's getting late. There's a car show this afternoon, about 20 minutes away. I'd like to go to that. So, I don't know, let me give it a shot at just unfolding this and see what happens. So I'm just taking my chisel and bending this up with my hammer. It's going along pretty good. I just want to show it to you. I can't really film it and do it at the same time. So yeah, just going to keep driving this along this edge here. Unfold this. That'll expose this bracket. There's a spot weld here. And probably one around on this side. And that should separate the skin of the fender from the bracket. And then I can go from there. Well, I spent a little time out here. And I bent that hem up. And I'm basically trying to separate the outer panel from this structural piece. And leaving the structural piece in place. Then I'd like to try to rebuild it. That's my plan. But I also, as long as I got out my body hammer, took a shot at some of these dents that were in here. And even though I might leave them, I might not. I don't know how much of a patch panel I'm going to use. If I use that entire piece, or maybe just a piece of it, I don't know. Some people are minimalists on these things. But I figure it wouldn't hurt to practice banging out dents with the hammer and dolly. If I cut it out and don't use that repair, fine. At least I got some practice hitting at a dent. I even tapped on the back of that crease that was there. I don't know what it looks like on the other side because I'm on the back side. But I'm about to flip it over again and maybe take a stab at just cutting a little bit of this outer panel off and exposing the structural piece, and then maybe taking a shot. I don't know about. I know I won't make the repair tonight, but I'm considering, you know, doing it in 3 or 4 different little pieces. That's the way I'm going to approach it. I don't know if I'm going to be successful at it. I'm looking at the top of the structural piece. Is that a dent? or is that supposed to be bent like that? This looks like a factory bend, obviously, because it matches this one. That to me looks like a dent. It kind of feels like one, but the way to tell is, honestly, is to take the fender off of that side or get up under there and take a look, see if I can see that piece, which I don't think I can if I crawl under there and see what it looks like. But that's kind of my model. That's why I left that on, is so I know how to put it back together. Even though I took video of me taking it apart. You never know. See, now I got it completely exposed. And yeah, it's pretty flimsy. So I don't want to remove any more of this skin. I was going to try to cut off this piece on the end. But that's what's really holding this thing where it needs to be. When I say this thing, that bracket. So what I really need to do is try to reinforce that bracket into the place where it's at. Kind of patch up those holes as best I can. And when I say holes, I mean it's just gone from here to here. So I need to maybe try to make a piece to fill that in and keep it in place if I can. That's kind of my plan for now. See if I can pull that off. And I'm looking at this hole, this square nut right here. You can zoom in on that. That square nut. I think that thread's stripped out, so I'll probably end up cutting that square nut off and welding another one on with good threads.